Remain standing just for a moment for invocation. Father, we come to you again this evening requesting your presence and your wisdom in this meeting, Lord. We ask that you would guide our thoughts, the processes that we attend for the good of the public, that you would direct us in the way that would be most beneficial to the greatest number. And Lord, we ask that, as always, you would continue to bless our city as you have in the past. And Lord, that you would keep us in a mind where we're here to serve the city, not seeking from it, but asking to serve those who have put us in these positions and entrusted us with their funds. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, welcome our two guests this evening. We don't count Jerry anymore. He's a fixture.
Part of the family.
Yes,
Right?
we just count him over there in the corner. If he's not here, we go looking for him. And you have the agenda that's before you. If you take a look at that, see if there's anything you wish to add. You'll notice that two of our number can't be with us this evening. Michelle said she would be if we needed her for a quorum, but we don't. We have a quorum. And I think Leo's on vacation, so we can still proceed. So is there anyone who has anything they'd like to add? If not, a motion to approve the agenda.
Is this ordinance captured on this?
Well, that's for your information.
Okay.
We'll take that up at another date.
Okay, no, that's good. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, motion by Bobby,
I'll second.
second by Greg. Everyone in favor? Angie, you good with it? Okay. Oh, yes. Again, the minutes are there before you. I know some of you had an opportunity to look over it. For those who didn't, take a moment, look through them, see if there's anything in there you wish to add or correct or change. Anything needs to be done with them. If not, when you're ready, we'll take a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to accept this.
Motion is made by Greg to approve the minutes as tendered. Is there a second? Second by Angie. Those in favor? Again, motion carries. Treasurer's report, same thing. Take a look through it. If you have questions, Sean will be happy to answer anything for you.
And this is all total closeout, correct, Sean? For fiscal year 23.
The ordinance 318 is yes, but the one for that now is the new fiscal year.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's closing out, sorry, it's June 23.
Yeah, everything's on here, yeah.
Apologize,
That's what
yes,
I-
it's
yeah.
all, yeah.
All right, that's what I thought. Just over there. I'll make a motion to accept the
Motion by Greg,
financials.
second by Angie. Again, any discussion on that motion? If not, raise the right hand to approve, indicate approval. All right, all yes. Treasurer's report is approved. Under new business, you have again the law enforcement report. I think it was sent to everyone.
It was not received by the sheriff, no.
Okay, sorry about that. You do not have it. No one has it.
Yep,
You have the fire report.
correct.
I know you got that. It's on handed out. So we'll take a look at that. The chief is standing there. If anybody has a question on anything that is reported on that.
And Mayor, if you approve, then we've also got the ambulance report, and I've got a report on that request for the sign for the sign.
Okay.
So we can cover all three and get them out of the way
All
and
right.
then shut up.
Anybody have questions or comments on the fire report first?
Fires were up, EMS was down.
Yep.
Any of those 40 wrecks down here at the interstate where they got it narrowed down to where you can't get on it?
Believe it or not, it's all considered to be in Kenton County, because as soon as you get to the bottom of the on-ramp,
Yeah.
that's the Kenton County border. So we responded to a few.
I was gonna say, there were some that were south of the overpass that
That
Let it pretty bad.
was,
around the holidays. It was-
so we had one on the northbound side, which was Dry Ridge territory. Then we had 3 on the southbound when the rains were starting.
Yeah.
For some reason, as soon as a few water drops hit, somebody's got to hit a median.
Yeah.
So-
I got caught in that, right below or south, it was on northbound lane, south of the on-ramp, and there were 3 or 4 cars, about trucks and stuff involved in that one.
Yeah, one time we had 14 vehicles involved in an accident, including the Dry Ridge working the northbound, we were working the 2 southbound, and Walton was working a 7-car incident where they shifted the lanes over. That's very deceiving when you're getting on the interstate, because you're following the white lines, and suddenly they put a wall.
Yeah.
Not very conducive.
Sean forwarded, I believe, some citizen complaint to Highway District 6, and they did respond.
Yeah.
They did respond.
I know.
I mean,
But the striping on the road and the wall is very deceptive.
It is, I agree with you.
Luckily, though, minor injuries all the way around.
Okay, you've got the Crittenden Ambulance District Treasurer's report there as well. I'm going to take a look through that.
Now, folks, with the ambulance district report, I would have you look at the ending balance, 138,903 and 60-some cents, or 80, got to put years on. Anyway, we are about to pay Dry Ridge for the first 6 months of the remaining ambulance contract. This is the last year of the agreement between the city of Dry Ridge and Crittenden for the ambulance provisions. So we're gonna go ahead and pay that 6 months upfront, and then we'll go from there.
As far as whether or not you retain that, or you look around or something of that nature, is that true?
That is correct.
All right, and then moving on to your picture of the signs.
All right. Now, I've been told I give, boring paperwork and stuff, so I included pictures this time. But, as you see, the first one that says fire is the design that I've got in mind for the front of the station. Now, we found a company that does LED signs. Basically, they take televisions like that, waterproof them, and sell them at some ridiculously low prices. Now, not looking at the price on that signage, but looking at the way that brick is designed is what we have in mind. Except the base would be fieldstone. We brick the side, suspend the signs between the 2 brick columns, and then across the top would be the City of Crittenden Emergency Services. On top of the center would be the city seal. And then on top of both pillars, or on one pillar would be the Maltese cross, symbolizing fire service. Then on the other one would be the Star of Life, symbolizing EMS, rescue. All of that would be made out of metal that would be laser cut from a company we found on Etsy. And he's a prior firefighter. He does really nice work. And he's fairly cheap. We're talking the emblems, metal, readable from both sides, for $70. And they're 10 inches in diameter. The city emblem would be the one that would do us, because he would have to cut it out and then glaze it with enamel and bake it. And again, so it's be read from both sides. The screen, that pricing right there would be deceptive, because we got to do 2 sides. So the second sign is the one I've got in mind. 69 by 20. That will give us 3 lines that we can use to communicate. Plus, this is a scrolling sign. You can do up to 10 messages, and it would scroll it continuously. So we're advertising Christmas parade. We're advertising spring garbage pickup for the city, burn ban, CPR classes, upcoming council meetings. All of that can be programmed in, and the sign scrolls continuously. Now, this is the beginning of the project. We're getting concepts, seeing if the board would approve, and that way we can move forward. As the mayor has said, we'd have to check with District 6 and get their approval. We also have to check with the county and get permission to build. We would also have to see what it would cost to run a line versus doing solar power. Solar power would be neat, but if we're going to do this, I would like to do something that is modern, stands out, is snappy, and there'll be no more questions about where the damn or fire department is.
So Chief, what are you, I mean, you talk about approval, anything else that we need to be engaged in this as far as,
Well, I'm going to ask for money.
okay, well, again, we
But at the
had,
same time, before we do that, I would like to have a complete cost breakdown. But the first thing that I would like the council to do is look at the design concepts, mull it over, and in the face of what the city has been trying to do with improving Main Street, with beautification, the word that I'm still puzzled on, but consider it, think about it, maybe tweak it, maybe come up with some ideas. At a later time, I'll come back with a price listing. When we're further into the fiscal year and we see how we're doing, then we can start making plans from there. I'm planning on trying to get this put together and start the installation in February, excuse me, the hiccups. February or March.
I have one question. Are you looking for both, approval on both signs?
No, sir, that sign that you're seeing,
This big?
the concept of the whole thing.
Gotcha.
So imagine that in front of the firehouse.
Okay.
But instead of having that large an LED, I'm thinking that we go with 69 by 20.
Smaller sign that scrolls.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Because we are going to make the City of Crittenden sign rather large. And I do not want to make it so high that it becomes an obstruction of Dr. Case or of the Christian church when we're going one way or the other.
Okay, gotcha.
and where's your proposal to place this sign?
Right in front.
Right in front,
Right.
right middle, like,
That's what I was gonna ask, in the middle.
When you see the parking slots that have been drawn out, you will see that there is one area that's triangled with no parking.
Okay. Bless you. Bless you.
Wow,
Yeah, it's the,
you know, now all I need is a good cough and I've
Get
got
a
it all
pony, get
covered.
three.
it's the season for that, I tell you.
But, that is a 15-foot space. So I figure if we can do 15 foot, leave it right in that area, we lose no parking. The only thing we'll have to do is that whenever Trevor comes to get everybody to blow the horn in the afternoons, he'll have to reposition. But, other than that, that would be the best area. We'd have to figure out how to run power to it. But digging up through that yellow line and across and then filling it back in would not be a big deal. Heaven knows we got the saws for it. Most of the cost on putting up these big signs is in the manpower. Guess what?
You got me.
I got some manpower, and they're very attuned to manual labor.
That's good, because you've got a volunteer sign at the end of the, so I'm glad you got some manpower for this.
So right now, just look at those concepts, be thinking about it. I can get a further cost breakdown as we get a little bit further into the year. And then we can beg and ask for money, and then we'll see what the fire department can do as well. On one other note, the gentleman that was here the last time, our last meeting, reference to the pantry, the church pantry.
Mr. Foster up in.
Mr. Foster, yes, came and met with me. It's a 5 foot by 4 foot elevated cabinet that he would maintain. He proposed setting it next to the power post that is between the fire department parking lot and Dr. Case. And it too would be in a triangled area that's not being used, but would be accessible to people from the street, people from the parking lot, and for his maintenance, stating that he would be through at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week, to replenish, rotate supplies, etc. On behalf of the fire department, I see no reason that it will become a hindrance or a problem. It would be up to the city, of course, but looking at it with him, do not see a problem with it.
You don't see anything as far as the additional traffic in that area for you?
The traffic should be some minimum,
You got a real small parking lot as it is.
Yeah.
yeah. But with Dr. Case using it sometimes during the daytime, my guys know to pull around the building, park around the back, park on the sides, etc. I don't think that we're gonna see enough traffic in and out with that it would become a problem.
If it did, how permanent is this thing supposed to be? What
It would be bolted to the pole,
Okay,
and there is no electricity for it. So it would be, hey, let's take the pole or the bolts out and we're gonna have to move it.
okay, so it wouldn't be a big deal to move it. Okay.
So what type of things is he gonna have in there?
Basically what he does is he goes and gets pallets at a time.
Is
So
this
he'll go
food items,
to,
you mean?
I'm sorry,
Food items or?
whatever would be on the pallet. He goes and gets these donations from the dollar store warehouse in Walton and then just distributes it.
He said the last time, and yeah, I think mostly he was talking no more about diapers and that kind of thing, wasn't he? More like dry type stuff rather than food type stuff. I understood.
Right, there's not gonna be anything that's not canned,
Right,
but it'll be mostly cleaning,
Non-perishables.
Okay.
personal care supplies,
right.
nothing that has to be refrigerated or has to have electricity to it.
And my concern is that, as some of the questions coming out of this, you know, the marketing of it, and again, who's eligible to get it, and then also the folks that'll be coming, you know, sitting out front, so they be coming and asking you folks about, you know, what's in there, when's the next one coming? Are you guys gonna be able to respond to inquiries from the public as they becomes known that it's out there?
As far as the interaction with the public, I welcome it.
Okay,
To me, that looks like a recruiting tool.
okay, no, that's awesome, as long as you're good with that.
Volunteer
Just trying to give cover that maybe out there that be, you know, how, I can see people, again, if they go and they become accustomed to picking things up and it be not there, you know, where do they go to, you know, inquire about when the next pallet delivery, you know, their supply, you know, if you're good with that, then that's fine. Okay.
That's a public building,
Okay,
and we're in public service, and that means that we have to answer a few questions.
okay, no, that's good.
I don't see a problem with that.
Is he gonna have a sign on it, you know, with his name
I
maybe?
do
and
not
somebody
know,
needs to
ma'am.
contact
He
him, or-
did not state, and to be honest with you, I didn't think of asking him until after he was already gone.
Yeah. that might
But
be
3
good.
times a week, and it's kind of like the small little private libraries that people do in some neighborhoods. If you need something, take it.
Just on
If you
system.
want to leave something for somebody else, you can leave it. The only thing is, it's not going to be clothing, it's not going to be furniture, chairs, anything like that. It's got to be whatever can fit into the cabinetry. The fire department will not be asked, nor will the EMS be asked to stock it, rotate it, clean it, or anything else. He said he would take care of all of that.
So when do you need an answer on it, chief?
On,
On this last thing on
he said he would be contacting you
okay,
whenever he's getting close to having it ready to go.
okay.
And I asked that we be given a heads up when he's going to install it, and, you know, we'll be out there to help him.
Okay, he hadn't contacted us since that initial time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so any questions? All right, thank you, folks.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, next we have the ordinance numbered 318-2023, which is just closing out last year's budget year. So if everyone wants to take a look at that, this would be our first reading, I'm sorry. It is first reading?
Yes.
First reading. So there's really no motion needed on it. It's there for your,
But this is a amendment to be able to account for
Close out.
deficits and stuff, areas that were in the actual budget.
Yes.
Well, okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
it's moving money around to cover the
Yeah.
area.
It's first reading. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
call me at the office, come by, I can go through the numbers, all that
Gotcha.
stuff that's going on, so.
He's got a lot more detail than this.
Yeah, if you need anything, let me know.
Yeah. No, that's what I thought.
Okay, that'll be our first reading. Now, the street project updates I passed out to you, that's hot off the press. We just got that, well, just before you walked in. I talked to both Logan and Jacob, and that's the information we have. I'm really disappointed, but I don't know what else we can do. We've got two big players in this ballpark, Eaton and Riegler. We didn't get a whole lot of service out of the first one, so we switched. So we'll see how this one works, but again, as you all know, this was supposed to have started back in June. Then it was supposed to start in July, then Joe and Sean attended the meeting, and I don't know if you were here or not, Greg,
I was
where
Mississippi.
they were told it would be.
And Angie.
Bob and Angie, y'all were told it would be in July. Now it's gonna be in August, and let's hope it gets started in August.
Yeah, it's late July.
Now, they're also asking for a meeting July the 31st to go over the Oakwood project out there. Now, we all know if they start, I mean, if they
That's
meet
good
July the
service.
31st, starting in August would be the earliest possible. School starts the second week or third week, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, the first week's gonna be tied up on these other projects too.
It's a Wednesday, that's high school.
So,
In that meeting, initially, he was wanting 5 months to execute Oakwood. We got him agreed to 3 months, but I think even 3 months is putting us on the edge of bad weather.
September, October, November, oh, it
Yeah.
is. And besides that, you know, we're gonna have school buses trying to get down
Oh,
there
yeah.
every single day
Yeah.
now. And I thought, you know, I know our idea was to try to get it done this summer.
Yeah, we talked about buses and trash and
Trash and everything else.
all that,
So,
and they frankly,
oh, I think they heard it.
well, that, yeah, they heard it, but they hadn't thought about it. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
right. So, you're all invited to the July 31st meeting, and
Cool.
we'll see what we can do from there. I don't know if there's anything more we can do other than just bring you up to date on it.
So,
The only, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I ask questions.
You go ahead.
Oakwood project, so this is set in stone, so we should start to get flyers out to each of the households?
Well,
I know we're on Facebook here, and I over to Facebook,
do you
so.
think we should wait until we have this meeting and just see what we're gonna do?
But again, is the meeting for the citizens of Oakwood, that's what I was.
That was the action item for Brett and his team to come back to the city saying when the meeting would be placed, public meeting for the city.
That's what I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry, you mean get out an invitation?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that would be a good
That's a Monday
idea. We can
evening,
also
6.
put it on our Facebook page, yeah.
But that's
Well,
a
not
Monday
Facebook,
evening.
we don't have Facebook, on our website.
MySpace.
Website.
MySpace, did you go there?
MySpace.
AOL, file it.
The only other thing that you have before you there, I think, is a draft ordinance having to do with short-term rentals. I'm not gonna ask you to do anything with it, other than take it and look over it, ask questions about it, write me, call me, look at other people's. You can find them online, I mean, there's several of them online. Lexington has a huge one, we're not that big, you know, so, I mean, that's why this one is considerably smaller. I did plagiarize 3 or 4 to come up with the terms that are in this one, you know, but if there's something else you think needs to be done, let me know. You don't even have to adopt it. But I will tell you that we are experiencing some problems with the inspection part of it. I'm not gonna put Chief on the spot to answer any of it here today, but he does our life safety inspections for us. Down the line, I think we need to consider some compensation for that being done. You'll notice that there's a larger fee in there than we're charging now. His inspection is very thorough. It's a full-page document, part of the NF, whatever those
NFPA.
that acronym is, that's very thorough.
and it usually requires a second trip. He's been doing them gratis, but, you know, I think this needs to be formalized a little more. That's why, that's not in this, but that's gonna be a part of this as we move forward. So,
I
if you have
just briefly
questions, let me know.
scanned this and only looked at it for about 5 minutes.
I'm sorry.
So I only briefly scanned this
Yes.
in the 5 minutes before the meeting.
Yes.
But one thing that was a big deal when we talked about it the first time was like the management of trash
Yes.
in the event of party at the short-term rental.
Yes.
External fire pits.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes. It's covered very briefly, very briefly. You'll see that when you get there. And it's, my idea at this point is to put that burden on the owner.
Yes.
And, you know, I think that's what we've done. But if you want something like this spelled out more clearly, you know, those are the kinds of things bring my attention. Okay, anybody have anything else? Sean talked to someone today. Sean, you have anything you want to report concerning the short-term investments?
Oh, the investments overall for the investment fund?
Yeah.
So this is an update, kind of a year closure. Last June 22nd, we made our initial investment in the investment pool that was created by KLC with PNC Bank. I believe the report showed, 27,000 increase this year on the fund itself in 12 months, so it's a pretty good rate. They have a couple different things I need to illustrate to the mayor first, and then I'll get to the council probably at the next meeting. Had a good conference call today. They have a new fund opened up. It's interesting. Great rates, I mean, phenomenal, and different input as well provided, but I'm also going to propose a enhanced investments at the next meeting.
So it's not going to be earth-shattering, but it is something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great rate,
Yeah.
great investment.
And if you have questions, again, get to Sean between now
Just
and
a
then.
comment, I meant to say something
Yeah.
before, but I spent some time going through all the financial report, and I just kept smiling. I mean, it looks good, at least in my 4+ years being here. It's remarkable what both of you all have done to manage
It's
budget forecasting.
It's actually been Sean and Michelle,
It's-
so
it's-
give credit where
well,
credit's
it's-
due. Yeah, they've done a great job.
It's, my
Thank you.
takeaway, it was spot on or a little better.
They've done a great job, I agree with you. Okay, anybody have anything further? Need a motion to adjourn to our next meeting date, which can be, of course, as you know, 2 weeks from today, or August the 8th, whichever you all would prefer.
What's the need on the second reading?
I see none. Unless
Okay,
someone else
that was
does.
the only thing that's present. I thought
There's nothing pressing in the budget.
There's no hurry,
No.
yeah, it can be August 11th.
So if you want August the 8th, we'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting, with our next meeting being announced for August the 8th at 7:00 PM. Is that motion being made by Bobby? Second by Angie. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.
Okay.